Hi guys, and welcome back to Economic Street. I'm Ola,
And I'm Nicholas.
and today we're going to be discussing Brexit, the story so far. So guys, Brexit negotiations, they've begun.
Yep.
June the 19th,
Correct.
we went to Brussels and we started a conversation about how exactly things are now going to
How this divorce is going to proceed, as they say.
with all the different issues that they need to figure out. But the main sticking point so far is about the rights
Of the EU citizens.
living in the UK.
Correct.
So for people that don't fully understand what's going on, there's about 3 million people currently living in the UK and working in the UK that are from EU countries.
Correct.
What the EU are asking for are their rights to be guaranteed as citizens. So essentially their right to continue to live and work in the UK and to receive other benefits like medical care. There's basically the EU is asking for a lot more assurances than the UK have currently provided.
Correct.
So that's what they're still kind of clamoring about, even before they've even got into the real nitty-gritty of the situation.
Yeah.
But let's park that for now and let's focus on the economic issues, and that's going to continue to impact us as individuals and as families, and what steps we can take to sort of mitigate any financial consequences of our decision to leave the EU. So, Nick, just start by explaining the main issue around the value of the pound at the moment.
So as we've seen since Brexit has come into force, we've seen the value of the pound fall, which means that our goods, for us, when we go abroad, we can get less currency to then spend. And it also makes us, so as say, from a business point of view, say if I import a lot from abroad, that makes my cost of goods go up.
So you're talking about companies where they import a lot of their raw materials?
Correct. So a lot of companies that you have that import from Europe and the rest of the world, because not only has the pound fallen against the euro, it's actually fallen against other currencies as well, such as the dollar. So as you know, the UK imports a large amount from the Eurozone, but also
like food.
Correct. Yeah. And also America. So as I said, the raw materials are essentially going up now because the value of the pound is falling.
Okay, so and that leads to what we call inflation.
Correct. So that puts pressure on inflation, so because the cost of goods are going up, which means you're getting less for your money.
Okay. So just to explain that a little bit more, inflation is where prices rise over time. Now, if the value of the pound is falling, it means that for each pound, maybe before you could buy, I don't know, a kilo of rice.
Yeah.
Now you could only potentially get
half a kilo.
So by that meaning is that you now have to spend £2 to get 1 kilo if that's what you were consuming before.
Correct.
Or you cut down on your consumption. So that's kind of the situation people have been left with. Inflation can have has good merits and also bad merits.
Yeah.
Inflation can help to stimulate economic growth, but if it becomes out of
control, that's the key.
That's the issue.
It's, yes, as you said, it can help to stimulate economic growth with more purchasing going on.
People
spend more. But if it gets too far out of control, you'll get a fact of where interest rates then start to go up. So then that has the reverse effect on helping the economy grow and inflation. So what it does, by bringing up interest rates, you're then hoping that consumers and businesses then start to save
and spend less. And by spending less, it means prices don't rise as quickly.
Correct.
As before.
So that's in the most basic sense. Okay. That's where you get with interest rates going up. But then, as I said, then the flip side to that, though, the positive for savers at the moment for the last, 10 years, interest rates have been historically low. So savers have been putting money in their savings accounts.
I'm not really earning anything.
And technically, they're probably getting, in real terms, negative because inflation is going up and the rate of interest that they're getting is less than inflation. They're actually losing money rather than getting money in real terms.
Right, okay. So steps to kind of take around this would be find better products that pay better
interest. So you could depend on two ways. You could, as what we discussed in previous videos, as a basic consumer looking at alternative ways of your spending and watching your spending. But in terms of, as say, an investor, if you want, looking at other ways to invest and make money. So let's say the old-fashioned way was putting it in the bank, because it's known as safe money. You put it in the bank and earn your interest. But as I said, there's the stock markets, there's property market, there's other ways that you can earn interest and capital.
Okay. Let's bring the conversation back to the Brexit. The next thing is going to be the divorce bill, as they're calling it.
Correct.
Figures have been touted of 50 billion to 100 billion pounds or euros. Given that the government is already running a deficit, so for those at home, to explain what a deficit is, it's basically when you're spending more than you're earning. Now, with governments, they earn money from things like taxes, and they spend money on things like welfare and benefits. So if they're currently spending more than they're making, that's what's called a deficit. Now, given that we're already running a deficit in this country, and now we're going to be faced with this bill, how are they going to be able
to actually pay for it?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's the honest answer. In the long and short of it is, if they don't want the deficit to get any bigger, they have to raise taxes
or cut
welfare. There's the only, in terms of balancing things, there's only two options. You either cut on welfare or raise taxes. So, as in welfare, that counts as your NHS, your pensions. As we've already seen, that they've increased the pension age.
Yeah.
To I think
68 now.
68.
Yeah,
and they
brought
it forward.
They're bringing it forward that date when they're going to trigger that.
Correct. So they've already started making adjustments to tackle the divorce bill. And I think, as well as not even just the economic impact, actually, as you said, the legality of Brexit is going to be a complicated. We're not lawyers ourselves, but it's going to be a complicated process in itself for us to leave the EU.
It's true. So with this divorce bill, if they're gonna cut welfare or cut spending, so NHS, or if some of our viewers are relying on welfare benefits like disability allowance or tax credits or working
tax credits.
Yeah. So again, is there something that we can do or they can do to kind of make sure they don't feel the impact too much if this happen? I know we're talking hypothetically because we've still got a way to go for Brexit, but just thinking ahead now, logically, is there anything that we can do? Just ride it.
Yeah, that's actually good, because it depends, because people are dependent on that. So it's like, it depends on your circumstances, because if you are able to get a job, that's the next thing. Jobs, because on one hand, I was about to say as a suggestion, working and getting a job to then not be reliant on the state. But then on the flip side, if Brexit's happening, or it's going to happen, how are we going to get it? Because there's going to be job losses as well.
Potentially.
So potentially, there's no gap, but potentially going to be job losses depending on the type of Brexit we get, which is another question in itself. So you're saying that you don't want to rely on the state, but the flip side is you may have to rely on the state more
because of
Brexit. But then how are you going to pay? Yeah. You see the cycle that's coming, and how are you going to pay for, I said, the potential legal bills if now the state can't get the money from us because we're relying more on the state? Yeah. It's a vicious cycle that potentially
spirals out. Yeah. And which is why I'm starting to understand why some people are asking for the decision to leave the EU to be reversed. They're asking for a second referendum. Yeah. Which in itself raises issues about democracy.
I don't think that will happen. No. So then I've heard a few commentators saying to have a second referendum. But I think the British public's decision, whether you agreed with it or not, it's kind of final.